Hare Krishna. Today I would like to touch on an important topic, what the external manifestation of the Paramatma is. Ignorance about this topic creates a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings. Today we'll analyze a quote from CC AD 158. This is the main quotation which establishes the understanding of the outer manifestation of the Paramatma. So we quote, "Since one cannot visually experience the presence of the Supersoul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. It is not possible for a conditioned soul to directly meet Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but if one becomes a sincere devotee and seriously engages in devotional service, Lord Krishna sends an instructing spiritual master to show him favor and invoke his dormant propensity for serving the Supreme. The preceptor appears before the external senses of the fortunate conditioned soul, and at the same time, the devotee is guided from within by the Chaitya Guru, Krishna, who is seated as the spiritual master within the heart of the living entity." The next quote, where Prabhupada explains in other words what the external manifestation of the Paramatma is. Because Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, actually, he is the spiritual master Chaitya Guru, so in order to help us, he comes out as physical spiritual master, and therefore, Sakshat Haritvina Samastra Shastraya, spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. Krishna sends some sincere devotee to act on his behalf, and therefore, he is spiritual master. Next quote, Prabhupada. "Therefore, God is called Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within the heart, and the physical spiritual master is God's mercy. If God sees that you are sincere, he will give you a spiritual master who can give you protection. He will help you from within and without, without in the physical form of spiritual master, and within as the spiritual master within the heart." And so, these quotes establish the following. A guru accessible to the external material senses is a physically present guru. On the forums where we discuss the topics of the manifested guru with Ritvik followers, one Ritvik supporter stubbornly insisted that Prabhupada is present now, like he is not different from his image or from his murti. The fact is that being physically present and being present in a murti or image are two different things. Any acharya is present in his image or murti, but this is on transcendental level. The conditioned soul is not in the transcendental platform. Therefore, he cannot be instructed by the image or the murti. The Ritviks will say that Prabhupada is physically present in his audio and video recordings. Recordings are separated energy. This has already been discussed. There is no difference between records and books. These are all recordings. Prabhupada is not directly involved in the discussion at the moment. This is what distinguishes the recordings from direct communication. Therefore, the recordings are not the physical manifestation of the Guru. So Ritviks, by their claims that Prabhupada is present in his recordings, actually state that he is physically manifested after his departure. So they contradict themselves and contradict Prabhupada, who states that there is a time when the Guru is no longer physically present. We quote, "As long as the spiritual master is physically present, the disciple should serve the physical body of the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is no longer physically existing, the disciple should serve the instructions of the spiritual master." The above quote is very significant, and two important theses can be built on its basis. So the quote sets the rule. First one. First Vapu, then Vani. This means that first you meet the physically manifested Guru in his Vapu form, then you follow his instructions, Vani, but not vice versa. Second one. The quote establishes the fact that there comes a time when the Guru leaves the physical plane, that is, he does not manifest himself for our external material senses. When the spiritual master is no longer physically existing. This phrase points on that. In many other places, Prabhupada speaks, and it's clear from the context that he will leave the physical plane. So we quote, "That is my request. Don't spoil it. Now it's up to you. My this ailment. I can pass away at any moment. My health is not good. I'm old man." He says, pass away. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is not physically manifest now. What does it mean? This means that he is not an external manifestation of the Paramatma right now, because the outer manifestation of the Paramatma is the physically present spiritual master, not a murti, because a murti will not train the conditioned living being in devotional service. Murti has a different function. She serves as an object of worshipping, and not as an instructing spiritual master. The murti is Archa Vigraha, and the physically present Guru is Ashraya Vigraha. And what does a physically present Guru mean? This is the Guru accessible to the external material senses. Prabhupada is not physically present because he is not available to the external senses. He himself said, when the Guru is no longer physically present, communication is through the Vani. Vani can be followed by the Guru's disciples who have taken shelter with him when he was physically present, as this quote says. And if you were not a disciple of Prabhupada when he was physically present, you cannot be his disciple after he leaves the physical plane. Therefore, you cannot follow personal Vani. This is evidenced by the fact that Ramanuja Acharya wanted to be a disciple of Yamunacharya while he was present on this earth, but could not get his darshan. He came to Yamunacharya's ashram a day later, when that one already passed away. Therefore, he received initiation from a disciple of Yamunacharya, Mahapurna. That there was no contact with Yamunacharya's Vapu, so he accepted Yamunacharya's disciple as his guru. The Ritviks will say that many disciples did not have contact with Prabhupada but received diksha from a representative without physically meeting Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was physically present in this world, he was manifested to the outer senses of the entire society. Therefore, there was no need to meet him in person. He authorized his representatives to act on his behalf. Yes, from the Vedic literature we know that earlier kings and priests sometimes used ritviks to perform sacrifices, but the ritviks acted on behalf of the king or priest only when he was physically present. There are no examples of ritviks acting on behalf of departed king or priest. Therefore, the bottom line is what we have now. Prabhupada is not physically present. No ritviks can be his representatives after his departure. A guru who is not physically present cannot be the outer manifestation of the Paramatma. The Ritviks will object that Prabhupada is present in his books. Anyone who reads hears, as they quote. Yes, this is true. Any acharya is present in his books, but books are only the first stage of association with pure devotees, and the second stage is accepting a guru, which, as we know, must be physically manifest. Therefore, the books are not enough. We quote, "The influence of a pure devotee is such that if someone comes to associate with him with a little faith, one gets the chance of hearing about the Lord from authoritative scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, by the mercy of the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, one gradually develops his faith in the description of such authoritative scriptures. This is the first stage of association with pure devotees. In the second stage, after one becomes a little advanced and mature, he automatically offers to follow the principles of devotional service under the guidance of the pure devotee and accepts him as the spiritual master. In the next stage, under the guidance of the spiritual master, the devotee executes regulative devotional service, and as a result of such activities, he becomes freed from all unwanted occupations. So, in conclusion, we cited that first comes the form of the Vapu, then comes Vani. Read the quote carefully. First is Vapu, and then is Vani. No Vapu is no Vani. That is logic. Books and records cannot replace the Guru. To follow Vani, Prabhupada told those disciples who took shelter when he was physically manifest. And now he is not physically present, therefore he is not an external manifestation of the Paramatma, and therefore cannot be a current link. So the issue is closed. So one has to meet the manifested Guru. I think there is a complete clarity here. If I did not convince you, please put down your comments under the video. I'll reply on them. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned. Hare Krishna.